questions.
She got frustrated with me because I'm asking her about her date.
I'm always in the hot seat. He will question me down. Like, He will ask question after question after question.
And the objective is what?
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Talking to you guys obviously about Put a Ring on It. Yes, I'm away, so I'm in a new location, so that's why I'm holding my mic, and that's why I'm in this brand new white room. But we're giving you guys a review of Put a Ring on It, dealing with specifically Jess and Eric. And you know, Eric's interrogation, I believe, is a symptom of mistrust, insecurity, or playing in at once. He doesn't trust her, so he interrogates her until he gets an answer he feels corroborates the story that he's made up in his particular mind about Jess. He could be right, but he could also be wrong. But let's talk about it. And if you're someone that can, who's been through something similar, this is a video for you. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of what the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you got the minerals. You got the minerals. Okay, let's get into the video. Hey, don't forget, stay hydrated. Don't forget to grab your bottle and your merchandise down below. Okay, because the streets are hot. Okay, before we kick off the show, I gotta get a little outro going so we get the conversation flowing. You feel what I'm saying?
Little Black Book, you know what time it is.
You just don't trust me no more. Hey, listen, we're talking about obviously Jess and Eric, and I think what's really interesting about watching these two specifically on the episode is really Eric's kind of coolness that we see on the outside, but then we see, as we dive a little bit deeper in and tease a little bit more information, how actually that coolness is just a facade. The brother is suffering underneath the surface. He's drowning underneath the sea waves at the moment, but pretending to be floating. He's not. And I say that in the most kindest of terms because I genuinely like all the cast. And I really like Eric's energy because it always does seem like he's trying to learn. And that's something that I do like about Eric. He looks like he's trying to learn. And so when I look at him in this particular episode, Jess makes a really key point, right? And we'll get onto Jess as well because she got smoke coming as well. But we see Jess obviously making this point about the fact that she feels some frustration because when she comes back from the date, he's there interrogating her. And we see the exact same thing in Hollywood last season, right? I said the exact same thing about the way he questioned Ashley. It wasn't like, oh, how did the date go? Like, was it good? Da, da, da. Listen, there's a way to interrogate someone that makes them feel like they're not being interrogated. Okay, when we do our interviews of people, I'm interrogating them. Okay, I want to ask questions, but you can see when I'm interrogating, when I ask question after question and don't let nothing rest or don't let nothing breathe, or I'm asking questions line after line after line, and it's almost like I'm attacking the person rather than going, okay, I'm trying to hear what you're saying. What do you mean by this? There are certain tones and then words that we use that help to dissuade from a conversation becoming an interrogation. Things like, oh, I didn't really quite understand what you meant by this. Please explain to me what you meant by this. And then shutting your mouth and allowing it to rest and letting the person speak and let them begin to say their answer and be like, oh, okay. I know you kind of said this well. I really love that. You add in little ad-libs in there as well. Like, I love that, or I like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, do you know what? It kind of makes sense now why you do X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay. So is this why X, Z, Z? Because what you're showing to the person is, I'm actually trying to understand you. An interrogation isn't trying to understand you. An interrogation is trying to get answers out of you that are going to incriminate you. Okay, when we talk about interrogation, what we talk about, okay, is someone closely, aggressively, formally asking you questions. Okay, let me say it again. Someone closely, aggressively, and formally asking you questions. If I'm in love with you, I'm not trying to ask you aggressive questions. Why? Because I care about you. What's really interesting is that the same line of energy that he had for that we're hearing about Jess, the kind of interrogation, is actually similar. The line of question that he kind of gave towards Lalani today, right? Lalana. In that episode, because he just kept on going with question after question after question. It was just like bam, 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 and it was very fact finder the way he was asking the questions, rather than being explorative in the nature of his questions. The explorative part of nature. Hey, English wants to slow, man. the explorative part of questioning allows for you to have understanding, but it also allows for us to build a picture together. When we're interrogating, I am building my own picture so I can nail you to the cross like Christ. That is what interrogation actually is. Okay, it's about making sure I piece together pieces, ask you questions specifically to trip you up, and then nail you to the cross. Okay, all right. So it's question after question after question to build out that picture, right? And also, when and to use the words interrogation means there's suspicion. Now, if you're the other party, if Jess is the other party in this relationship, and she's been interrogated under suspicion of what? That's the problem right there. You see, you're not asking questions to find out about her date and how it went, right? No, you're asking questions with an interrogative nature because you are suspicious of her movements. Why are you suspicious? You don't trust her. And that's the honest truth. Like, he doesn't trust her. And we learned that a few episodes back where they spoke about the nature of their relationship, how at points she got with another football player, in the beginning of the relationship, he was moving mad. And those contribute towards mistrust in how we see people. And then it comes out as behavior. So yeah, you're not coming out being a jealous broad, right? And being overly ogre-y. And being overtly controlling. No, you're not going to do that. But you are going to ask questions because you don't believe. And similarly enough, we see the same thing with Sean. Sean feels the exact same way, the way that Eric feels, in the way he asks questions. He wants to ask it as LaRonda made us aware. He asks it in a way that he doesn't receive the first answer. He doesn't believe it. So now there's a line of questioning that happens during the course of that conversation. And it now goes from conversation to interrogation. Okay? Interrogations are for those people who are suspicious. What are you suspicious of, Eric? Her behavior. You don't trust her. That's it. You got to be open and honest with yourself. You don't trust her. Forget jealousy. Forget jealousy. You don't trust her. You don't. Okay? All right, let's watch a little bit more of the clip. I'm going to bring it to just here. I just want to bring it to this part here. Cool. And what we're doing is I wanted to just bring this clip to you guys about where Jess begins to start how she's saying she's frustrated by the line of question. We'll play it in a second or two. And she's frustrated because, when you're in a relationship, it's about trust, about communication, but believe me. See, if you interrogate me, it means you don't believe the words that are coming out of my mouth, as Jackie Chan would say. Well, sorry, as Chris Tucker said to Jackie Chan. Like, it's about belief. It's about not being trusted. It's about feeling like a criminal. It's about feeling claustrophobic. It's about being unloved in those moments because what the person's saying is, I don't believe your truth. And that's painful in any relationship. Now, I'm not saying that Jess is smoke-free. Oh, no. Okay, she's done her bit to contribute towards a relationship. But if we're going to move forward, we're going to have to agree that we're going to have to heal and forgive one another. Specifically now, at this moment, Eric, because that's what we're dealing with. And that's what we saw on the show. Okay, but they're both la tête. Now, if you've been with me long enough, you know what la tête means. La tête means we do it tit for tat. La tête. Tit for tat. La tête. Okay, and how do we know he was interrogating her? We know because of the way he answered the question, but we'll get to that.
Like, okay, let me think about this. Like, give me some time. And one key thing that stood out to me the whole date was he acknowledged the fact that I can.
Now, at this particular point, in this particular moment here, we get obviously. Jess even speaking about something, and I'm going to just detour real quickly because I used the wrong clip. I'm going to detour quickly, where Jess talks about how that Sean was showing us emotion and he was seeing into her, and it's really interesting that she talks about how, and this is why I say la tête, and I think Dr. Nicole picked it up. It's interesting how Jess will see that, he just wants the girl because she looks good. And then it's like, yo, you are excited about Sean because he sees you because Eric doesn't see you. We all do the same thing. You understand? Now, obviously, there's obviously nuances to that in regards to that. But, you're saying, you're getting excited saying, he told me he likes me and, I wanted to see how this goes. Girl, he done told you he likes you. Where are we still going? Unless we really want to explore something further along the lines, right? But you're using it just as a balance in this particular equation because you feel like he's got too much power, or the fact that you want him to feel a little bit jealous, right? So you start telling him, oh, the guy likes me, and he does this, he does that, he listens to me, rare. And then he does the exact same thing also by getting excited. My man got so excited about Lalana, and I was like, bro, you didn't even understand the words she was saying, so where's the depth? The depth you've been asking for, sir, and I like Eric, like I said, the depth you've been asking for, where is it? Because all you could say was, I didn't actually understand what she said. If you didn't understand what she said, how would you know what depth she has if we don't understand what she's saying? Come on, bro. So you're kind of more proving Jess's point about the fact you only like these girls because they're buff. And the girl that you did have depth with wasn't attracted to you. It wasn't attractive to you. Do you know what I mean? Deep the ting, Deep the ting, Okay, let's go a little bit further on. I'm gonna go to here.
Not fishing. I don't like to fish.
But you're digging.
Searching.
Okay.
So I want you to notice, Pan, I'm going to play another clip for you guys as well. How when he's asked about whether he's digging or not, you notice the answers he gives are not denying that he's interrogating. It's more of a case he wants to kind of readdress it. He wants to kind of spin it a little bit, right? Rather than outright saying, I'm not interrogating, I'm actually genuinely asking a question. Because what happens is normally when people feel like that people are getting them wrong, they redirect. They don't redirect. They tell you straight, no, that's not how I saw it, right? Those who are assertive anyway. And Eric's an assertive kind of guy. He's very blunt. He'll tell you straight, no, that's not what it is, right? But you start to hear him saying, redirecting it. He's rather than saying that is definitely not it, he starts redirecting it. In fact, look, we can watch this little clip here.
You don't get to come up out that seat. What adult do you know that enjoys that space?
If there's nothing going wrong, or you ain't do nothing, or nothing's happening, what's wrong with asking some questions?
And there we go. There's a validation of him asking questions. We're talking about you interrogating. You're talking about asking questions. No one's denying you can ask questions. We're talking about the style of way of asking questions. It's interrogation. And because he doesn't see anything wrong with it, I don't know, maybe what he's hearing at the moment in time, he is seeing that something's wrong with it, but in a sense of he feels justified in the way he's doing what he's doing, which is why he's never going to deny, which is why he's not going to agree. But he starts redirecting instead of actually just saying outright, no, it's not it. Rather, he's trying to validate what's wrong with me asking questions, because that's how he sees what he's doing. But he doesn't realize because of the mistrust he has, it's coming out like a bloody interrogation at the police station. As in you're a suspect and we're asking you questions to get a line of inquiry to get an answer. What is the answer? What did you do wrong? That's what he's looking for. Okay, right? And you want to notice something when people don't know the balance that they should bring into something, watch how they go into extreme. Listen to this.
With a little interrogation?
If there's nothing going wrong, or you ain't do nothing, what's wrong with asking some questions?
What's wrong with a little interrogation?
Sorry. There's another part of the clip, but I don't want to copyright a thing. He's going to start saying in a second something which is really, really key as to why I know that he understands that it's interrogation, but it's like he goes into extremes. When people go into extremes, what's really happening is they don't know the balance. When people go into extremes, it's because they don't know balance, right? So this is what's happening. Let's watch this.
Yeah, what's wrong with it? If that's what y'all call it, interrogation, what's wrong with answering what your man has to ask?
Usually when that is your approach, that beast is not going to get fed. Because that's usually something going on with you that you're now making something going on with them.
So I love what Dr. Nicole says in this part, right? Oftentimes we're looking at the person, it's like, oh, we're looking at them. And actually really it's not them, it's us. I've dealt with insecurity before, and on a huge scale, I mean, like not like a little insecurity, but I'm talking about like when it begins to affect you, and it can be triggered by certain events. So it's not every time, but it's certain events. And what it does to you is it cripples you. Okay, and then it changes your behavior towards the other person, and then you try to cover it up, and then because you have not healed, and you don't know balance, you start to go into these extremes. Should I not ask questions then? Should I not ask questions at all? Is that what we're saying? No, we didn't say that. We said about interrogation. And because the person doesn't know balance and doesn't know balance, that then becomes they go from one extreme to the other end of the extreme. Okay, I won't ask questions then. And it's like, no. Rather than asking the question, so how do I ask questions then so it's not an interrogation? See, someone who's healthy and balanced will understand that, okay, if I've gone amiss, then I need to come back. How do I come back to that? Because what happens is when people go to a 10, right? Like when you get angry to a point where you lose it, now, okay, you've gone to the upper limits, right? It's very hard because pride and ego won't let you come back down again. It's like, I've gone to a 10, I've got to stay at a 10. But when you just go to a 2 and you're like, okay, cool, I might have got it wrong, it's easy to surrender the pride there because not much that's been invested into that, right? You haven't shown a big reaction, and you're more easily able to go, okay, you know what would be a better way of actually looking at this, right? Because you become less emotional. When you're tied in emotionally, it's very difficult to come out of that space because your emotions are now dictating the answer. But if you stay objective as much as you can, you're able to climb down because you didn't use as much energy to try and climb up in the first place. And that's what we're getting with Eric at the moment, right? We're getting this energy because he's climbed up so high in his emotions due to what that's happened between the two. And I'm not blaming him because of what's happened between the two of them. But he needs to climb down so he can find a balance if this relationship is to work, okay? I'll watch a little bit more of the clip and then we'll end it there.
So just don't ask nothing?
No. Ask for what you want. And when your needs are not getting met, say that.
And that was where the extreme was. So don't ask nothing. And she's like, no, ask for what you want. There's a specification that needs to come with that. So if anybody out there, listen, if you're dealing with insecurity and you know you're dealing with insecurity, listen, we need to address that, okay? And we address that by going back to the original point where this insecurity started and addressing it and facing it and opening that door and saying, hey, do you know what? I'm not going to let you win now, okay? I'm going to face it, and I'm going to say, actually, this is a problem. The first part is awareness, so that we can actually begin to tackle it. And then we can start putting things into place, practical steps to try and heal from that insecurity. But hey, listen, guys, I don't want to hold you too long today. I hope you liked it. Listen, let us know your thoughts down below. Do you agree with what I've said? Or do you disagree with what I've said? Listen, if you want some coaching as well, please do hit us up on the email, littleblackbook91@gmail.com. We are always here for you to coach. For those of you who have messaged me already, I know I'm going to get back to you this week. Don't worry, I got you in mind, all right? Guys, stay locked and stay loaded. Stay hydrated. You understand?